In these times of stress, it is all too easy to give in to negative thoughts. And this can even become the default way that we respond to things. So here to help us put a stop to this is Dr. Gregg Jantz, founder of The Center, a place for hope. Dr. Jantz, thank you for joining us today. We're talking about automatic negative thinking and how that's a real problem, yeah?
Oh, especially right now. I mean, we're in the middle of pandemic purgatory, and people are weary, and their thoughts are weary. I call it ants. Ants are automatic negative thoughts. Okay, and it's really easy to get into this negative perspective right now. And all we're doing is looking out of the lens of a world that everything seems so negative. So we kind of join in, and then we suffer more anxiety, suffer more depression. So we need to change this.
Agreed. So what are the different ways that we might notice this? Because I would imagine that most people don't really think that they're always thinking negatively. They just may be having a bad day. So what are different ways we might notice this?
Well, look at the words that come out of your mouth. Do I have an automatic irritation? Now, here's a checkpoint. Is my IQ going up? Irritability quotient. Do I constantly feel irritable? And that's a sign. If I'm constantly feeling irritable, I'm constantly feeling frustrated, or maybe I'm in this place of just an onslaught of anger all the time. That's a sign I probably have some negative thinking.
Okay, so then how can we put a stop to having those kind of negative thoughts? What should we do?
Well, one of the things we need to be aware of is if anxiety is really getting paralyzing, or depression, and we feel like we're on that edge of despair, that's really another matter. That's one where we need to ask for help. We need to get some professional intervention. But if you're just struggling, go, man, I just feel really negative and everything just is bugging me. Well, one of the first things you need to do is, how am I doing with the basics of my self-care? I know this sounds really simple, but when we're constantly irritable, we tend not to be taking good care of ourselves. Sleep. You may have struggles with sleep. You may even find, hey, I'm not even drinking my water. I just talked to a guy. He goes, man, I'm averaging about 12 cups of coffee a day. I go, well, hey, man, you're from Seattle. You're allowed a few, but 12's not going to help your anxiety. His complaint was, I'm just feeling really anxious and negative. Okay, so ask yourself, what's going in my mouth? Start there. And then how are you caring for yourself? People are turning to food, they're turning to escapism behaviors. So am I drinking, overusing food, overusing the digital world? What am I doing that's adding to this negativity?
Okay. Well, thoughts often do become words. So how can we kind of help each other, I guess, when we notice that we have automatic negative responses? Like, how can we help?
Yeah. Well, here's a simple formula. So how I think tells me how I feel, which tells me how I behave. How I think tells me how I'm going to feel, then tells me what I'm going to do in my behavior. So one of the things you need to look at is, am I doing self-destructive behaviors? Now, here's the key, and you asked a great question. If I'm living with somebody and they're constantly negative and I'm worn out, I've had enough of it, okay, try doing some things together, whether it's a hike, do some physical activities that take you outside of your normal environment, and use an activity as a place to discuss some feelings. Just don't sit down and go, hey, I need to talk to you. Will you please listen to me? Okay, do an activity and share really what your experience is.
Okay, so what about when you're just, you're having a bad day or anything? Does it help to maybe write down some of these negative thoughts and maybe rewrite them in a positive way, like to help kind of self-recognize yourself of what's going on? Is that a good strategy?
Yes, it is a good strategy. One of the things I'm suggesting is get an old-fashioned 3x5 card. I have one right here, a blank one. And one of the things we need to do is we need a system of renewing our thinking. So one of the things is, if our point of focus is always on the negative, we're always going to feel negative. So maybe I need to write out, maybe it's a positive affirmation. Maybe it's a truth about me that I haven't really focused on for a while. Go out for that 20-minute walk, pull that out of your pocket, read that out loud. Speak some words of truth and hope, maybe even words of blessing over somebody. Here's the thing. The power of our words is very significant. You may not feel like it, but verbalize a different perspective out loud.
So, as you can imagine, a lot of people are having a difficult kind of 2020. So, when we think about it and we think about what you just said about eliminating some of those negative thoughts, how can we kind of put a positive spin on what has been a different year?
It has been a different year, so we're not going to deny reality. 2020, yes, it's been nonstop. We've had a number of plagues, haven't we? We've had everything from COVID plague to smoke, you name it, we've had it. And so look at these series of plagues as a period of chronic stress. Chronic stress can have a start and have an ending. It's a season. When I'm under chronic stress, I've got to put a focus on my own self-care, my physical well-being, as well as my thought life. Find somebody, hopefully two people, that you're not just talking about all the negative, you're talking about the future. You're talking about personal goals, life mission. This is a time to reset. Really, during the most difficult time, we've got to focus on resetting some personal life goals, or we're going to regret.
All right, Dr. Jantz, thank you very much. Make a successful end to the rest of your 2020, and thank you, my friend.
Hey, let's do it. We need each other.